We've turned exhaustion into a badge of honor, pulling all-nighters, grinding on 4 hours of sleep. I'll sleep when I'm dead. We treat rest like the enemy of getting ahead. But here's what almost nobody tells you. The people with the sharpest, most powerful minds are not the ones who rest the least. They're the ones who recover the best. Because rest isn't the opposite of training your brain. It's part of it. In fact, it might be the most important part. And getting this wrong quietly costs you everything else. You can have perfect study habits and study the smart way, but if you never recover, none of it sticks. You're filling a bucket with a hole in the bottom. So in this video, I'll show you why recovery is secretly your most powerful brain workout and how to actually do it right. Stay till the end, because the way most people rest is quietly making them more tired, not less. If you appreciate this type of content, gently tap that like button. Now, let's get into it. First, the reframe that changes everything. Think about building a physical muscle. You don't actually build it in the gym. In the gym, you break it down. The muscle grows back stronger later, while you rest. The work is only half the job. The growth happens during recovery. You've got this backwards. We celebrate the person who sleeps 4 hours and grinds, but they're not winning. They're breaking themselves down faster than they build. The person who works hard and recovers hard quietly laps them. Your brain works exactly the same way. All that focus, learning, and discipline you build during the day, it doesn't lock in while you're grinding. It locks in while you recover. So if you train hard and never recover, you're not building anything. You're just breaking yourself down over and over and wondering why you feel worse. Recovery is where the gains actually happen. So let's start with the big one, sleep. Most people think of sleep as the brain switching off. It's the opposite. While you sleep, your brain gets busy doing two crucial things it simply cannot do while you're awake. First, it consolidates. Everything you learned and practiced during the day gets replayed and filed away, moved from fragile short-term memory into solid long-term memory. Deep sleep locks in facts and skills. Dream sleep connects ideas and processes emotion. This is why a good night's sleep after studying beats another hour of late-night cramming. You are literally locking in learning while you sleep. Pull the all-nighter instead, and you skip the very step that would have made it stick. Picture two students before an exam. One crams until 2 a.m. The other studies less, then sleeps a full night. 9 times out of 10, the one who slept walks in sharper and remembers more. Same material, but only one of them let their brain file it away. Second, it cleans. While you sleep, your brain physically flushes out waste, the metabolic junk that builds between your brain cells during the day. Think of it as a nightly rinse for your mind. Skip the sleep, and you skip the rinse. The junk stays, and the next day, everything feels foggy, slow, and heavy. So a full night of sleep is not lost time. It's when the day's training gets saved and the whole system gets cleaned out. And a lot of that cleanup only happens in deep sleep. Cut your night short, and you cut the cleaning short too. That's part of why a run of bad nights leaves you foggy for days. That's exactly why the all-nighter is a con. When you sacrifice sleep to get more done, you're not winning time. You're borrowing it at a brutal interest rate. Sleep deprivation wrecks the exact things you are trying to improve. Your focus drops, your memory gets leaky, your mood crashes, and your judgment falls apart. And this isn't a small effect. Researchers have found that staying awake long enough impairs you about as much as being legally drunk. You would never make a big decision after a few drinks, but people do it every day running on no sleep and never connect the dots. You've felt this. The day after a bad sleep, simple things feel hard. You reread the same sentence 3 times. You snap at people over nothing. That's not a character flaw. That's a brain that never got to save and clean. So grinding 18 hours on no sleep doesn't make you more productive. It makes you a slower, foggier version of yourself, doing worse work for longer. Sleep when you're dead just gets you there faster. And here's the cruel part. The work you push out while exhausted is usually so foggy that you redo it the next day anyways. You didn't save time, you spent it twice. But recovery isn't only about sleep. Your brain also needs downtime while you're awake. And this is the part almost everyone gets completely wrong. Here's what happens. When you stop focusing and let your mind wander, something happens. A quiet network in your brain switches on. Scientists call it the default mode network. And far from being idle, it gets busy connecting ideas, replaying what happened, and solving problems in the background without you. This is why your best ideas show up in the shower, or on a walk, or as you're drifting off to sleep, and almost never when you're grinding at your desk. Those are the moments your mind finally has the room to wander and connect things. But here's the problem. Most people never give their brain that room anymore. Every spare second, every cue, every walk, every gap gets filled with a phone. And a brain that is fed constant input never gets to process any of it. You are quietly stealing your own best thinking, one scroll at a time. There's a reason shower thoughts are a thing. In the shower, you finally can't reach your phone, so your mind is forced to wander. And that's when the ideas land. Give your brain the same freedom on purpose, and those moments stop being accidents. And by the way, if you'd like a step-by-step way to build recovery habits like this, I've made it easy. There's a free 5-day brain training sample linked in the description. It turns this kind of thing into a one simple page a day. Grab it after the video. Okay, back to it. All this leads to a trap almost nobody sees coming: overtraining. In the gym, if you lift hard every single day with no rest, you don't get stronger. You get injured. The muscle never recovers, so it never grows. Your brain is no different. Push it nonstop, no sleep, no breaks, no downtime, and it doesn't get sharper. It burns out. The sharpest people you know are not grinding 24/7. They work hard and then they genuinely rest. They protect their sleep. They take breaks. They let themselves be bored. That rhythm, hard work, then true recovery, is what actually builds a strong, durable mind over years. More is not better. Recovered is better. Think of two people studying for the same test. One grinds 14 hours straight, running on fumes by the end. The other does 6 focused hours and protects their sleep. The second person almost always retains more, because they actually let their brain lock it in. Working longer is not the same as learning more. So let's make this practical. How do you actually recover well? 3 moves. Move 1. Protect your sleep like it's training, because it is. Aim for a consistent sleep and wake time, even on weekends. Your brain runs on rhythm, and a regular schedule is the single biggest thing you can do for sleep quality. Then give yourself a wind down. Dim the lights and get off bright screens about an hour before bed. That last one matters more than people think. Bright light late at night tells your brain it's daytime and quietly delays the whole recovery process. Move 2. Take real breaks. After a block of focused work, step away. And I mean properly. Scrolling is not a break. It's just more input for a brain that desperately needs less. Take a short walk. Look out a window. Let your mind go quiet for a few minutes. That's what actually recharges your attention, so the next block of work is sharp instead of sludgy. Move 3. Let yourself be bored, on purpose. Stand in a queue without reaching for your phone. Eat a meal without a screen. Go for a walk with nothing in your ears. It feels uncomfortable at first, and that's fine. The empty space is exactly where your brain does its background processing and where your best ideas come from. Now, one honest thing, because this is the hard part. Resting is going to feel lazy. In a world that worships hustle, doing less on purpose feels wrong, like you're falling behind while everyone else grinds. That guilt is the exact thing you have to unlearn. Rest is not the reward for the work. It is part of the work. The muscle grows during the rest, remember? So when you protect your sleep or take a real break, you are not slacking off. You're doing the half of the job that almost everyone else skips, which is exactly why they stay stuck. You're not choosing rest over progress. You're choosing the kind of progress that actually lasts. So let me make this dead simple. This week, change just 2 things. First, pick a consistent bedtime and actually stick to it, with screens off about an hour before. That one change alone will sharpen everything else you do. Second, once a day, take one real screen-free break. A walk, a window, a few quiet minutes with no input at all. That's it. 2 changes. You are not being lazy. You are giving your brain the one thing it needs to lock in everything else you're training. Do it for 1 week and you'll feel the difference. Clearer mornings, steadier focus, and a mind that feels rested instead of running on empty. Because here's the whole idea. Your brain does not grow while you grind. It grows while you recover. Sleep saves and cleans your mind. Quiet downtime lets it process and connect. And recovery is the ground that every other mental muscle, your focus, your memory, your discipline, actually grows on. Neglect it, and you can train as hard as you like and still go nowhere. Protect it, and everything else you're building finally sticks. Stop treating rest like the enemy. It's your secret weapon, and it compounds. Recover well night after night, and your focus sharpens, your memory deepens, and your discipline holds, all on their own, while you sleep. You're not doing less. You're finally letting the work pay off. Now, recovery is the fifth of 5 most mental muscles you can train, alongside focus, discipline, memory, and emotional control. I'm putting the whole system together in a complete brain training guide that's coming to this channel soon, so make sure you're subscribed, because that's the one you won't want to miss. I'm Simon, reminding you that your brain is a muscle, so let's train it every day. I'll see you in the next one.